In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the requirements for StudyLink 4-9, which looks at metric measurements. In problem number 1, in the first part of tonight's homework, or tonight's math practice, you're going to be asked to look at 4 different objects, and then give an estimation of their length in metric units, and then actually measure them in metric units as well. So we're looking for answers or measures that end in millimeters, centimeters, meters, possibly even decimeters if you would like. So here you might take an object, for instance, maybe your cat, right? And you might say, oh, well, my cat is very large. My cat might be close to 30 centimeters. And then you might actually measure it, and you might find that that your cat is much larger or much smaller. So after you get out a ruler or maybe a tape measure and you measure your cat, you might find that your cat is much larger than 30 centimeters, and it might be 42 centimeters. So go ahead and give me the actual length there. On the next part of your StudyLink, you're going to be asked to make conversions between different metric units. For instance, in problem number 2, you're going to be moving from centimeters to millimeters, or possibly even meters to centimeters in problem number 6. And then even between number 4, problem number 4, meters to millimeters. So let's take a look at problem number 2. In problem number 2, we're given the metric unit of centimeters. We're given 18 centimeters. And the question is, how many millimeters is that? Well, we know something. Today we discussed a lot about conversions between metric units, and we know that every centimeter, 1 centimeter, is made up of 10 millimeters. So if we were dealing with 2 centimeters, how many millimeters would we have? That's right, we'd have 20. And if we had 3 centimeters, how many millimeters would we have? 30. You see a pattern beginning to develop. And that is, when we move from centimeters to millimeters, we increase by a power of 10. We take our initial answer, we multiply by 10, and we get our answer in millimeters. With that in mind, if we have 18 centimeters, how many millimeters is that? Well, like we said, we take our original measurement in centimeters and we increase by a power of 10. So 18 times 10 is 180 millimeters. So we know that our answer is 180 millimeters. Let's take a look at another problem. Problem number 4. In problem number 4, we're moving from meters to millimeters, and this is a bit of a challenge for us. So let's take it one step at a time. We know that 1 meter is made up of how many centimeters? And we know that 1 meter is made up of 100 centimeters. So now let's take 1 centimeter. And we know that 1 centimeter is made up of how many millimeters? And we learned that 1 centimeter is made up of 10 millimeters. So if 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters, we know that, for instance, 2 centimeters would be 20 millimeters. So what about 100 centimeters? What if we were dealing with 100 centimeters? What would that equal in millimeters? Well, we know that when we move from 1 centimeter to millimeters, we increased by a power of 10. We took our 1 centimeter, increased by a power of 10, and got 10 millimeters. So we know when we're moving from centimeter to millimeters, we increase by a power of 10. So we take our initial answer, or initial number that we're given is 10 centimeters, and we increase by a power of 10. So 100 centimeters times 10 would give us 1,000 millimeters. But here, we're not given 100 centimeters. In our initial problem, we're given 3 meters. And we know that 3 meters is actually equal to 300 centimeters. And now we need to take this 300 centimeters and we ask ourselves, how many millimeters is this now? How many millimeters is this? And again, just like before, when we were moving from centimeters to millimeters, we increased by a power of 10. We are now moving from centimeters to millimeters again, so we increase by a power of 10. So we take our 300 centimeters, which is equal to 3 meters, and increase by a power of 10. 300 centimeters times 10, or 300 times 10, gives us 3,000 millimeters. That's a lot of millimeters. So we know that 3 meters is equal to 3,000 millimeters. The last problem that I'd like to show you is problem number 6. Problem number 6 asks us how many meters is equal to 700 centimeters. And again, we rely on what we know and what we're comfortable with. And we know that 1 meter is equal to 1 meter is equal to 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So our question is, how many meters is equal to 700 centimeters? And you may have solved this problem very quickly, but again, I'd like to show you a little pattern that develops. If 1 meter is 100 centimeters, 2 meters is clearly 200 centimeters. And going forward, 3 meters would be equal to 300 centimeters. So clearly we see that we're increasing by a power of 100 here. So following that pattern, 700 centimeters must clearly be equal to 7 meters. So our answer, 7 meters, is equal to 700 centimeters. I hope that helps.